Good evening, students. Today we will start a new chapter, that is atoms and molecules. This is the third chapter. Already two chapters were completed. That is matter around us pure, and the second one is matter in our surroundings. Already two chapter is completed, and this is the third chapter, that is atoms and molecules. This is an important chapter. Let us first know what is atom and what is molecule. So number one, atom. What is atom? An atom is generally the smallest particles. An element, or in an element, atoms are just the smallest particle which can take part in any chemical reaction. It is the smallest particle of any element that is taking part in a reaction. So atom is generally a smallest particle. So we will write atoms are the smallest particle. Atoms are the smallest particle of an element. Atoms are the smallest particle of an element which can participate, or you can write which can take part in a chemical reaction. Which can take part in a chemical reaction. So this is what is atom. Atoms are the smallest particle of an element which can take part in a chemical reaction. Now what is the size of atom? Generally this question is asked sometimes, that what is the size of an atom. Generally atoms are very small. They are very small, and the radius is measured in nanometer. Atoms are very small, and the radius of atom is measured in nanometer unit, that is nanometer, or it is symbolizes as nm. Nanometer, or in short it is nm. So therefore atoms are very small and the radius is measured in nanometer unit. Generally 1 meter equals to 10 to the power 9 nanometer. Clear? That means 1 by 10 by 9 meter equals to 1 nanometer. That means 1 by 10 to the power 9 meter equals to 1 nanometer. So this is the relation between nanometer and meter. Clear? So radius of an atom is measured in nanometer unit, and this is very, very, very small. Atoms are generally very small. Clear? Very small particle. Hydrogen atom is the smallest atom as far as the atoms are concerned. Hydrogen atom is very small atom, and actually it is the smallest atom, and its radius is almost 0.1 nanometer. This is the radius of hydrogen atom. It is the smallest atom still so far. It is the smallest atom so far, that is hydrogen atom. Its radius is the smallest, almost 0.1 nanometer. Clear? So these are the atoms, the definition of atom and their size. Next one, molecule. Next one is molecule. Now molecule is the combination of atoms. Molecule is the combination of atoms, that is when two atoms or more than two atoms combine together, it forms a molecule. It is the combination of atoms. So molecule is actually the combination of atoms. It is also the smallest particle of an element, but it is the smallest particle of compound. More precisely, we will say it is the smallest particle of an compound, or you can say element, but it is not as small as atom. It is not as small as atom. Atom is the smallest particle, and when more than two or more than three atoms, that is generally two or more than two or more than three atoms, when combined together, they form a molecule. So it is the smallest particle of an compound which can exist independently. It is the smallest particle of a compound which can exist independently. That is, molecule is, it is the smallest particle of compound, it is the smallest particle of compound which can exist independently. Molecule is the smallest particle of compound which can exist independently. Now in case of atom don't exist independently. They don't have their own existence. In case of atoms, they don't exist independently, or they don't have their independent existence. But molecule, they can exist independently, because molecule is the combination of atoms. When two atoms or more than two atoms or more than three atoms combine together, then forms molecule. So it can exist independently, because molecule is the combination of many atoms. Clear? And it is the smallest particle of compound. So there is a slight difference between atoms and molecule. Atoms, they cannot exist independently, they don't have their own existence. But molecule, they can exist independently, or they have their own existence. Clear? Suppose for example, molecule example, that is hydrogen. It is a molecule that is combination of two hydrogen atoms. Oxygen, it is a molecule combination of two oxygen atoms. Phosphorus molecule P4, it is the combination of 4 phosphorus atoms. Then N2, it is a combination of 2 nitrogen atoms, that is nitrogen molecule. Sulfur S8, it is a combination of 8 sulfur atoms. Clear? So these are the examples of molecule. Clear? Now next, properties. What are the properties of molecules? Number one property is molecules of a compound constitute the same type of atoms. Molecules of an element or compound constitute the same type of atoms, or it can be different type of atoms. Can be same type of atoms or can be different type of atoms. Generally, molecules of an element constitute the same type of atoms. Generally same type of atoms, but sometimes it can be of different types. Clear? Generally, most of the time, molecules of an element or compound constitute the same type of atoms, but sometimes it can be of different type. Clear? So number one property is molecules of an element or compound constitute the same type of atoms. Number two, examples are given above, like hydrogen H2, combination of 2 hydrogen atoms, that is same type of atoms. Oxygen O2 molecule, combination of 2 oxygen atoms, that is the same type. P4 phosphorus, combination of 4 phosphorus atoms, also the same type of atoms combined together. In case of nitrogen, in case of sulfur, all these are examples of the molecule that is the combination of same type of atoms. Clear? Next, now in case of different type of atoms, now H2, it is a water molecule. It is also a molecule, but it is a water molecule. In this molecule, there are 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. That means different type of atoms. One is hydrogen, one is oxygen. That means this is also an example of molecule, but it is the combination of different type of atoms. Clear? So generally it is constitution of same type of atoms, mostly same type of atoms. Sometimes different type of atoms can be compounded together to form molecule. Clear? Next property. Next, number 2 property, molecules may be monoatomic, may be diatomic, or may be polyatomic. Monoatomic means only one type of atoms, diatomic means 2 type of atoms, and triatomic means 3 type of atoms. That means also polyatomic. Monoatomic, diatomic, and polyatomic. Triatomic is a part of polyatomic. That means there are only 3 types of molecules can be formed: monoatomic, diatomic, and polyatomic. And under polyatomic, there are triatomic, tetraatomic, pentatomic, and so on. Clear? So there are generally 3 types: monoatomic, diatomic, and polyatomic. All these tetraatomic, triatomic, or pentaatomic, all this comes under the polyatomic segment. Clear? So molecules may be generally classified as monoatomic, diatomic, and polyatomic. So this is the second property. So molecules may be monoatomic, diatomic and polyatomic. Molecules may be monoatomic, diatomic and polyatomic. Example, what is the example? Example of monoatomic molecule. Monoatomic molecule example, suppose helium, it is a monoatomic molecule. Sodium, it is also a monoatomic molecule. Next, argon, it is also a monoatomic molecule. So these are the examples of monoatomic. That means only one type of atom. Clear? That is monoatomic, or only one atom. That is monoatomic molecule. Monoatomic. Next, diatomic, that means two atoms are there. That is diatomic molecule. For example, hydrogen, nitrogen, or we can say oxygen. These are the diatomic molecules. Diatomic. That means two atoms are there. Number 3, polyatomic. Polyatomic, under polyatomic segment there are tetraatomic, triatomic, pentatomic, octatomic. All these comes under polyatomic segment. So polyatomic molecules, that is S8, P4, all these are polyatomic segment. This is says as octatomic because 8 atoms are there, and this is tetraatomic, there is 4 atoms are there, but all these two are comes under polyatomic segment. So this is polyatomic molecule. This is the second property of molecule. Number 3, just take a screenshot, or you can write this in your copy because I am going to erase this. So the third property of molecule. Number third property is molecules of compounds join together in a definite proportions and constitute a different type of atoms. This is the important property of molecule. Just listen carefully. Molecules of compounds join together in definite proportions, that means in a fixed proportion, and constitute a different type of atoms. That means different type of atoms means they can combine together in a definite proportion or fixed proportion and constitute different type of atoms. So number third property, molecules of compounds join together in definite proportion, or you can say in fixed proportions, in definite proportions, and constitute a different type of atoms, So these are the properties of molecule. All total 3 properties are there, 3 main properties are there. These are the properties of molecules. Next we will study 2 important rules regarding these atoms and molecules chapter. Very important concept. So number 1, so these are all about atoms and molecules. Next, the rule is law of chemical combination. How molecules and atoms combine together is governed by these laws of chemical combination. Laws of chemical combination. Now, what is this? What is this laws of chemical combination? Whenever reactants react together to form the products or the elements combine together to form a compound. They do this according to this law. I am repeating again. Whenever reactants react together to form the products, or the elements combine together to form a compound, they do this by this law or according to this law. These laws are called the laws of chemical combination. That means the laws by which reactants react together to form products, or the elements combine together to form a compound. The law is stated by the laws of chemical combination. Now, this law is governed by Antony L. Lavoisier, a famous scientist. His name is Antony L. Lavoisier. He is a famous scientist. He laid the foundation of this law by establishing two important laws of chemical combination. So the scientist is named as the scientist who proposed these laws. There are two laws. So the scientist is Antony N. Lavoisier. Antony N. Lavoisier. Just you can write only Lavoisier. Don't need to write the whole name if you cannot remember properly. Just you can write this name. Antony N. Lavoisier. He is a famous scientist. He proposed these two laws, which is under laws of chemical combination. If you cannot recall the full name, just write Lavoisier, scientist Lavoisier only. That is sufficient. So number one law is law of conservation of mass. Under the laws of chemical combination, number one law is laws of conservation of mass. Law of conservation of mass. Law of conservation of mass. Now, what is this law? This law states that mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. The law states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed during a chemical reaction. That means in a chemical reaction we cannot destroy mass or we cannot create mass. Clear? This is the statement that is proposed by Antony N. Lavoisier under his law of conservation of mass. That means in a straight cut way, mass should be conserved. Mass should be conserved. That means we cannot create mass or we cannot destroy mass in a chemical reaction or during the course of any chemical reaction. That is the main statement provided by Antony N. Lavoisier. So the law is mass can neither be created, mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. In a chemical reaction. This is the statement under law of conservation of mass proposed by scientist Antony N. Lavoisier. Mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. Nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. This is the statement. Let me clear you with an example how this statement is signified. Suppose this is an example. Suppose there are two reactants A plus B. A is one reactant, B is one reactant, and the product is C plus D. A plus B, the product is C plus D. That is, these are the reactants, two reactants and two products. That means A and B reacts together to form C and D. So mass of reactants should be equal to mass of products. That means mass of A and B should be equal to mass of C and D. Only in that case mass can neither be created nor be destroyed, and the statement is justified. That means mass of the reactants should be equal to mass of the products. That is the main motto of this law of conservation of mass. That is, suppose 10 gram reactants, if reacted, the product should be 10 gram. Clear? If 10 gram reactants are reacted, the products must be of 10 gram. It cannot be more than 10 gram it cannot be less than 10. Only then mass is conserved. That means the product mass and the reactant mass should be equal in any circumstances. Clear? That means we can write mass of reactants equal to mass of products. Mass of reactants equals to mass of products. Suppose in an example, this is the normal example. If a practical example of any chemical reaction is given, suppose sodium carbonate is reacted with hydrochloric acid, that is HCl. The product will be your carbon dioxide and sodium chloride. If sodium carbonate is reacted with hydrochloric acid, the product is carbon dioxide and sodium chloride. Let me provide you in formulas. Like suppose sodium chloride or sodium carbonate is reacted, that is sodium carbonate plus hydrochloric acid or HCl, hydrochloric acid. The product is your carbon dioxide and sodium chloride, that is carbon dioxide plus sodium chloride. If sodium carbonate is reacted, suppose 4 gram, suppose sodium chloride is reacted 4 gram and hydrochloric acid is reacted suppose 10 gram. So if 4 gram sodium carbonate is reacted with 10 gram hydrochloric acid, that is the total mass of the reactant is 4 plus 10, that is 14 gram. It is the total mass of the reactants. Then total mass of the product should also be 14 gram. But in practical, it is seen that if 4 gram sodium carbonate is reacted with 10 gram of hydrochloric acid, then carbon dioxide is produced as 2.5 gram, and rest of the mass that is consumed by sodium chloride. The sodium chloride is produced as 11.5 gram. So all total 14 gram products is formed. This is the practical example of law of conservation of mass, where mass of the reactants and mass of the products are equal, that is mass is conserved. So this is the practical example of reaction between sodium carbonate and hydrochloric acid. That means mass of reactants should be equal to the mass of the products. So this is law of conservation of mass. This is the first law proposed by Antony and Lavoisier under laws of chemical combination. Next, second law. Second law is laws of constant proportions. Second law is laws of constant proportion. Laws of constant proportion. So what is this law? Its law states that in a chemical substance, the elements are always present in definite proportions by mass. The law states that in a chemical substances or in a chemical substance, the elements are always present in definite proportion by mass. That means elements are combined together in a definite proportion or by definite mass. This law justifies this. So the first the statement is in a chemical substance, the elements are always present in definite proportions by mass. Laws of constant proportion states that in a chemical reaction, the elements are always present in definite proportions by mass. For example, in H2O molecule, in H2O molecule, the ratio of mass of hydrogen and the mass of oxygen is always 1:8. That means in H2O molecule, the ratio of mass between hydrogen and oxygen is always 1:8. That means in H2O molecule, the ratio of mass of hydrogen divided by just write mass of hydrogen and mass of oxygen equals to 1/8. That is, ratio of mass of hydrogen and ratio of mass of oxygen is always 1:8 in H2O molecule. So this law is the law of constant proportion. Clear? For example, similarly, if we say another molecule, suppose carbon dioxide molecule, in CO2 molecule also there are two atoms, carbon and oxygen, so the ratio will be 3:8. In that case, in CO2 molecule, the ratio will be 3:8. Suppose if we take the example of carbon dioxide molecule, CO2 molecule, there are two atoms, carbon and oxygen, so the ratio of carbon and ratio of oxygen will be 3:8. So we will write mass of carbon or mass of carbon atom and mass of oxygen atom will be 3:8. So these are another example in CO2 molecule where mass of carbon or mass of carbon atom and oxygen atom will be in the ratio 3:8. So this law is the law of constant proportion. That means in H2O molecule or in CO2 molecule, the atoms will be in the definite proportion. That means they will combine in a definite proportions by their mass. Clear? So these are the two laws proposed by Antony and Lavoisier. One is law of conservation of mass and the second one is law of constant proportions. Next we will see what are the symbols of certain important elements. In your book, chart is given already. The chart says symbols of some elements, their formula and their short name or Latin name also provided wherever Latin name is applicable. So we will now study some important elements, their Latin name and the formula or symbol. So this is important because sometimes element is given and symbol is asked in your question. So just make a heading, symbol of some common elements. Symbol of some common elements. So name of element, one category is name of element. Next one, Latin name if it is required, Latin name, and the third is your symbol. Clear? So first element is hydrogen. Latin name not required, symbol is H. H stands for hydrogen. Second one is helium. Formula is or symbol is He, capital H, small e. Next, carbon. Symbol is capital C. C stands for carbon. Next, copper. So copper is Latin name is cuprum. Its Latin name is cuprum. So formula is C, the first two alphabet of Latin name, that is C. Clear? Next one is cobalt. Formula is CO, capital C, small o, cobalt. Next one is chlorine. Formula is Cl, capital C, small l, Cl, capital C, small l. Cl stands for chlorine. Next one, cadmium. Formula of cadmium or symbol of cadmium is Cd, capital C, small d, Cd, cadmium. Next one is boron. Boron. Formula of boron is capital B. B stands for boron. Next one, barium. Barium. Barium is capital B, small a, that is barium. Next, bromine. Next one, bromine. Formula of bromine is Br, capital B, small r, that is bromine. Next one is bismuth. Bismuth. Formula is Bi, capital B, small I, Bi, bismuth. Just note it down. I am erasing the first 5 to 6 elements. So last one is bismuth. Next, so after bismuth, next element is sodium. Next element is sodium. Latin name natrium. Latin name natrium. So first two alphabet, that is Na. Symbol is Na. Capital N, small a. Next one is potassium. Potassium. Latin name is kalium. Latin name is kalium. Formula is capital K. Only the first alphabet, that is capital K. Symbol of potassium. Next one is iron. Latin name is ferrum. First two alphabet, that is Fe, capital F, small e. Fe stands for ferrum. Next one, gold. Gold. Latin name is aurum. First two alphabet, that is capital A, small u, aurum. Next, after gold, that is silver. After gold, that is silver. After gold, one more important element, that is silver. Its Latin name is argentum. Argentum. So this is important. Silver, formula of silver is important. Why it is important? I am telling this. Just write it down. The formula of silver, argentum, that is Ag. Why it is Ag? Why not first two alphabet is taken? Because if we take first two alphabet, that is Ar, Ar is stands for argon. Air stands for argon. If the formula of argon, it is a gas actually, it is not element, it is a gas. So formula of argon was Ar. Formula of argon was Ar. But if we take Ar for silver, then the two formula will be same. Silver Ar and argon will also be Ar. So there was a confusion between silver and argon. If we say formula Ar, then Ar will be both silver and Ar will be both for argon. Clear? So there will be some little confusion. What Ar stands for? Is it for argon or is it for silver? That's why R is not taken. Its next alphabet G is taken. Clear? So formula of silver will be Ag, not Ar. That's why this is important. Clear? So silver, Latin name argentum, formula is Ag. The last one, that is mercury. Last one, that is mercury. Mercury is also important. The mercury, that is the Latin name is hydrargyrum. Latin name is hydrargyrum. His Latin name is hydrargyrum. Mercury. Latin name is hydrargyrum. Formula is Hg. It is a liquid metal. Mercury. Mercury. It is used in thermometer. Every one of us knows this, that mercury is used in thermometer. So it is a liquid metal. Mercury, formula is Hg. So these are the some important elements. We should know its Latin name. Some of the Latin names are given and some elements. In case of some elements, Latin name is not required. So Latin name, as usual, the symbol we should know. So that's all for it today. In the next session, we will discuss the more important topics. Total 2 to 3 lessons. I think more 3 lessons should we require to complete this session, and then we will solve the chapter based question, your NCERT folder, NCERT questions, and the chapter will complete. Yeah, so that's all for today. Thank you.